You know, when you start building in the village, people always tell you stories, myths, warnings, even jokes. Some say the walls won't survive the rains. Others believe if you don't follow traditions, the house will never feel like a home. But what's true and what's just a myth? Hi, my name is Sorino. I tell stories of my life through cooking videos, farming, and homesteading life in general. If this is the kind of content that interests you, kindly click the subscribe button for more amazing videos. So today, as I take you through, I want us to unpack some of these myths together and see what's real and what's just village talk. They say a makuchi roof can't survive heavy rain, and I get why some people may say that. If it's poorly done, makuti does leak. But the truth is, with the right frame and proper laying, a makuti roof can last years and still look beautiful. Another common one is that traditional houses are always dark inside. Maybe this comes from older homes where builders didn't prioritize windows. But the reality is, with the right openings and clever design, these spaces can feel bright, airy, and surprisingly cozy. Then there is the termite story. People believe termites will eat the whole house before you even finish building. And yes, termites are a real threat, so I understand where the fear comes from. But once you treat the wood and soil, that problem is sorted and the structure stays safe. Some also say cement is always stronger than soil. I think that's because cement looks solid and permanent, while soil feels temporary. But in reality, strength depends on how you build. Soil walls, when maintained, can hold strong for generations, sometimes even outlasting cement. And the one I hear the most, that traditional houses are for poor people. Maybe it's because soil and natural materials are cheaper and more available. But the truth is, these homes can be just as beautiful, comfortable, and creative as any modern house. Sometimes even more, because they carry tradition and warmth that money can't buy. And And that brings me to a question I keep asking myself. And now I want to ask you, knowing all this, will you live here? Picture this, waking up to the sound of birds or the cock crowing, stepping outside and being greeted by neighbors carrying firewood or taking their goats and cows to graze, or children running to school. It feels so simple, but it's also so comforting. Now, of course, living in a village home comes with its own challenges. You won't always have everything at your doorstep like in the city. But then again, you gain something else, that space, peace, and that feeling of being connected to the land. For me, every time I see the plaster coating the walls or the roof catch the evening light, I think, yes, I could live here. But again, I had already made this decision long before. It's not just a structure, it's a story being written with every step of the build. But I'm curious, what about you? Will you live in a house like this if given the chance? Or do you think you'll still miss the city energy too much? I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments because for me, this journey is not just about building a house, it's also about imagining a life inside it. One of the things I love most about building here is how much inspiration the village gives me every single day. I see the sun rising over the trees, people laughing and talking across the fields. There's something about this way of life that makes it feel slower, but also more meaningful. It's in these small moments that my creativity really comes alive. Most of the recipes I share with you, the way I cook, the way I present food, they're all influenced by what I see and experience here. Even the house design itself, the choice of soil, makuti, wood, It's all part of the inspiration I draw from different villages I have visited. And sometimes, I think if I were living in the city, I wouldn't notice half of these little details. Here, the village almost forces you to slow down and pay attention. To notice the smell of firewood smoke in the evening, the sound of rain on the roof, even the way neighbors gather to help during construction. So when I say this house is more than just walls and a roof, I mean it. It's a reflection of everything the village has taught me: patience, creativity, and the beauty of community. What about you? Do you ever feel inspired by where you live? Or do you think you'd find more inspiration if you stepped into a completely different environment? Talk to me down in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, what if we had built this house with cement instead? Of course, it will look sharper, more modern, maybe even more permanent in some people's eyes. But will it carry the same warmth? Will it feel as connected to its surroundings as it does now? Cement has its place, and I know many people will choose it without hesitation. But when I compare it with the natural materials we're using here, I can't help but feel that this way of building tells a different kind of story, a softer story, a more personal one. What do you think? If this were your project, will you go for cement and modern finishes, or will you stick with the natural materials like this? At the end of the day, whether you build with cement or soil, what really makes a house special are the values and traditions that live inside it. And for us, one thing we were sure of from the very beginning was to keep some of the traditions we grew up seeing in our parents' homes. Because it's not just about the walls and the roof, it's also about the life that happens inside. For example, in our home, we've made sure to keep an outdoor cooking space because that's where stories are shared as food is being prepared. We designed a sitting area that naturally invites guests, the way our mothers and grandmothers always did. We even paid attention to the orientation of the house because in many traditions, the way the doors face isn't just practical, it's symbolic. And most importantly, we've kept the tradition of always cooking meals we can enjoy together because food is really what brings the house to life. By the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. I actually have a playlist where you can catch up on every stage of this build from the very beginning. And I'd really love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the house so far? Would you live in a place like this? And since many of you ask about food, I do curate meal plans for people who sometimes find it difficult to figure out what to cook quickly. You can find my number in the description box if you'd like to order one for yourself. Now that we are here, we are hoping everything pans out well. We are currently waiting on some of the walls to dry before we can continue. And that's why you don't see the guys working inside. These are just some of the small setbacks that come with this type of build. If something isn't done properly or there is an issue, you really can't move forward until it's corrected. At one point, even the inside got cold, and that made them stop as well, just to ease the strain on their hands. But that's all part of the process. We take it step by step. Thank you all for being here and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep dreaming, keep building, and most importantly, live the life that feels true to you. Until next time, bye. We shall try again tomorrow.